happy Easter to you. So today we're going to do a mobility to improve squat mobility. I have to confess I was going to do it yesterday, but on Good Friday I did Murph and my body didn't work yesterday and I wouldn't have been able to demonstrate anything properly. So you do need a ball for this mobility. So what we're doing is using the ball to kind of be like a massage element of it and to release the tissue before we do some stretching. So one of the things that happen when people squat is two things can happen. One thing is people can squat, and as they squat, their heels come off of the ground. If your heels come off of the ground, it's because of tight calves. So we're going to work from the calves upwards. And some people, when they squat, will bend forward. And this is because tight hamstrings or tight quads, tightness around the hips is preventing you from keeping your body upright. So if you're in this position, then there might be a problem around your hips. So we're going to work on all of that type of thing today. So it can be any type of ball, a tennis ball, I don't know what this is really. You can get them on eBay. I will send a link so that you can order something online. I'll try and find somewhere that's available even in lockdown. But it's very useful to do before, to do this mobility, either before you're going to squat or afterwards as a mobility to loosen yourself off. So we're going to start with, we'll start on your ankle, but we are going to go back down to the foot as well. So the ball is just under, so your Achilles is here, your Achilles tendon. You want to be just off of the ropey bit. And your foot is just resting on the ball. And to be fair, nearly everything we do in this mobility is painful. So, but it's kind of an uncomfortable pain. If you get a stabbing pain or anything else, then obviously stop. So the ball is resting on the back of, this is where, on the back of your calf here, and this is where the two calf muscles join. And all you're going to do is flex and point your toes. It is tender. If you're feeling really brave, you can actually drop your other foot over your calf and to keep more pressure on. Depends how brave you're feeling and how painful it is. And you can do some rotations with your ankle, so you can circle round in one direction and you can circle round in the opposite direction to ease everything off. And when you've done, you need to be working for about 2 minutes on everything really. The video would be forever if I did that. So I'm only going to show you one leg, but I would suggest you stop the video and do the opposite leg. Then you can move the ball up slightly or move yourself down. And again, the same type of thing. Pointing and flexing, rotations round and in the opposite direction. You can turn your hip in and out or your foot in and out so that the ball rolls over your muscles. And again, if you feel brave, if I was doing this in my mobility class, we'd all be cursing and swearing, but I'm trying to behave. So any of these movements, the movements that feel the worst are probably the ones you need to do. And then moving up to the top of your calf. Don't go too high up into the back of your knee, because there are structures behind there that won't appreciate a ball being rammed into them. That just hurts too much. I'm still tender from birth. So pointing and flexing and circling in either direction and moving your leg from side to side. And then we'll just do a little calf stretch. So once we've mobilised everything, we then need to stretch it. So all you're going to do, bend one leg, the other leg is next to it, and you're just going to drop forward onto that knee to get a stretch. It doesn't matter if your heel comes off, but you'll still feel it in the back of your calf here. So your weight is dropping onto this front knee to give some pressure to get a stretch on your calf. So if you can, stop your video now and move on and do the opposite leg. Then we're going to do a little bit on your foot. Now this is really good for people who have had plantar fasciitis or get heel pain, and it's good for tight calf muscles in general. So the ball is rolling on the inside arch of your foot here. I should take the sock off, then you can see there. So on the inside arch of your foot here. And all you're doing is, you can keep some pressure on your knee just to roll through the instep of your foot. So you're just rolling backwards and forwards. The other thing you can do is just roll your foot from side to side across the ball of your foot, and also across the back part of your heel. You don't have to sit down to do this. You can stand up and just roll backwards and forwards, put your heel down and roll through the front of your feet, and put your heel down and just roll through this foot. And this will help with calf length. So if your heels come off, this would be an important one to do. Again, stop the video and do both feet. So the next thing we're going to do is work on your quads. So the ball is going just above your kneecap, and we'll keep it simple. We're just going to work on that area there. So the ball is on the centre of your knee, and all you're going to do is bend your knee to 90 degrees and then rock from side to side. So this just relaxes. So when you're rocking from side to side, make sure the ball is rolling from the inside of your knee to the outside of your knee. This is so you get all of the quads. And just to give some soft tissue release, you're just going to kick. Bring your foot to your bottom as near as you can. So first of all, you're just bringing your foot to the same cheek of your bottom. Then turn your knee slightly and bring your foot over to the opposite cheek. And this gets the inside of your quads. And then lastly, take your leg to the outside and kick towards the outside. Try not to lift your bum up. So as you try not to do that, you don't get the same stretch on your hip flexors if you do that. So just keep your bottom on the floor and kick your foot up as hard as you can. And again, you can just move down and just do the same thing. It becomes harder to do the inside and the outside as you move further up your thigh, but it can still be done. So you can kick the opposite cheek or the outside, and just keep moving through your thigh. And as you move down, the ball moves up, and sometimes you just find the funkiest part of the muscle, which for me is here. And in that place, you can just stay completely still and take deep breaths. Just sometimes it's known as the trigger point, and it can just be a super painful bit for the muscle. But staying in the same place and taking deep breaths will actually, the pain will go. But otherwise, just keep kicking your bottom, kicking the opposite bottom. Whichever's more painful for you is the area that you probably need. And you can still just move your foot from side to side. And then stop the video now and do your other quad if you need to, or you can play it through twice. So do one leg on one side and one leg on the other. So we're now going to stretch the quad. So I don't know what's the best position to do this. Probably this. So you're just going to side lie. The bottom leg is straight or slightly bent, but make sure it's not here. So balance yourself. So get hold of your your foot, and pull it towards your bottom. Now the aim is to keep your knee down onto the other knee and not to bring your leg out to the side, and also to not let your knee be in front of here. So you really want your leg to be pointing straight down, so it's a long line from your shoulder down to your knee. And you're just holding onto your foot and pull your foot towards your bottom, then squeeze your glutes together and push your hips forward, and you can get a nice stretch. If you want to make it more hip flexor,
pull your leg backwards a bit more. And that gets your hip flexor as well. But you do need to make sure you squeeze your glutes and push your hips forward to get into your quads very properly. And make sure your leg's not in the air, that it's kept down nice and low. And hold that for 30 seconds. Do nice deep breathing whilst you're doing it. So take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, pull your hip backwards or squeeze your glutes more to get towards that big stretch down the front of your thigh here. So now we are going to move on to hamstrings. So we need a chair for this. So the ball is going to go, I always think of your bottom as having like a smile line here, and you want the ball to be just on the smile line at the bottom of your bottom there, and you're just going to sit on it. And to start with, it feels like if it's in the right place, it feels like you're clicking over a bone. And what you need to do really is just kind of a little twerking action. So you're just wiggling your bottom from side to side, and the ball is flicking over what appears to be a bone. It's actually your hamstring tendons, the origin of your hamstring. And this gets really tight, especially if you've been doing deadlifts, good mornings, any bending forward types of thing. So you're just working from side to side to release that tendon. Now with your hamstrings, the more you lean forward with a flat back, the bigger the stretch will be. So if you're sitting up like this and you can't really feel it, then lean forward with a flat back and do exactly the same, and you put more tension on your hamstrings. That will give you a bigger stretch. So once you've released or massaged the hamstring origin, you're then going to stretch it. So this is a soft tissue release. So all you're going to do, flat back, drop your chest towards your thighs, and you're just going to extend your leg out in front of you. So if you're getting to here and your leg's shaking, then sit up a bit more so that you can get the stretch. If you're able to do this really easily, then drop your chest to your thigh and get more of a stretch on your hamstring. And as with everything I've been showing you here, we're going to work through the whole muscle. So you can move the ball down just a section. As the ball moves down, you can start to do something else to release the hamstring. So just rotating your foot from side to side rocks your hip, and the ball will roll over your hamstring, which is a good thing to do. And again, just drop your chest to your thigh and extend and flex your knee. So if this is too painful and you've got a massive shake on, just sit yourself up a bit more. Rounded shoulders don't work, so doing this doesn't actually make any difference. It has to be with a flat back to get that stretch. And then last one is probably about 2/3 of the way down your leg. If you had a peanut, which is like a ball that's stuck together with two balls, and I'll talk about those another day, then you can move further down to the back of your knees, but otherwise stop at about here, because your hamstrings separate here and they go out either side of your knees, so the ball would then be in between your hamstrings and you wouldn't actually be doing anything. And exactly the same. Mirth isn't good for you. So rocking your leg from side to side to give a massage, and then straight forward, keep your chest down and extend your leg to get that stretch. And you'll feel this all the way up the back of your leg, and it really releases your hamstrings. If you've decided to do this all the way through on one leg and then repeat it on the other leg, it's quite interesting to do a squat after you've done the first leg and see if you can feel the difference between the two legs. So that's how you work on your hamstrings. So then we're going to work onto your piriformis. I will try not to swear as we do this because it's always so painful. So you are, I don't know where I'm lying down. So you're going, feet are hip width apart, and you're going to put one ankle onto your opposite knee. And then the ball goes into the meaty part of your backside. And all you're going to do is drop your knee down to the same side
that the ball is on. So in this case, the ball's on the right hand side, and I'm dropping my right knee down to the floor. And as I'm dropping down, the ball is rolling all the way across your piriformis muscle. And this muscle can be a naughty one because it gives some people sciatica. So if this muscle tightens up, it can give people pain down their leg and give you lower back pain. So this is a nice muscle to work through. So you can work higher up, or you can work lower down, and just do exactly the same movement, just dropping your knee to the floor. And you need to do this for about till as long as it stops feeling so uncomfortable, and that can be up to 2 minutes for some people. So once you've done that part of it, you then need to stretch your piriformis. So the way you do this is to use a sofa or a chair, and you're going to move your bottom near to the sofa. Put both feet on the sofa and lift your hips in the air. Then put this ankle on the opposite knee and drop your bottom back down to the floor. And you should feel a big stretch in the glute of the knee that's crossed over. And just hang out there for 30 seconds. I am really flexible in my hips, so I make this look easy. But some of you may be stuck here, not able to drop right down to the bottom. So if you are stuck here, take a nice deep breath in, and as you breathe out, just drop down into it till hopefully you can get your bottom on the floor. Again, either stop the video and do the other leg, or go through the whole video again. So, this one is still for your glutes, but it's for your glute maximus rather than your piriformis. So, the ball is going to slide up and down your bottom here, and this releases your glute max. So, the leg you're not working on is extended, the leg you're not working on is bent, the leg you're working on is extended. And you can see the ball. All you're going to do is rock backwards and forwards. So your toes are going up to the ceiling and pointing. And you can move outwards and do that same action. And the other thing you can do is turn your foot from the inside to the outside. If you can't feel it like that, bend that knee, straighten this one, and drop your bent knee out to the side. And again, working for 2 minutes, and we'll just stretch that glute. So, lying on your back, take your knee to your opposite shoulder, and you're just going to pull your knee over, and you'll feel the stretch, but not in the same place as it was in the piriformis. It's more in this area. Some people get hip impingement when they do this. So if you do, just take your leg across more and not so much towards your shoulder. Take it to the opposite side. And just relax. So we haven't done hip flexors because hip flexors don't really affect your squat, but we will do that on another day. So after you've done that, go into a squat and see if it feels any more comfortable. See if you can get down lower, see if you can get your chest up higher. Quite a nice idea to take a photograph before you start and afterwards and see what the difference is. So I hope you have a nice day and get lots of chocolate.